Hello friend, and welcome to the all-inclusive life show where we help you cultivate energy, restore balance, and live an all-inclusive life. I'm your host, Kris J. Simpson, author of the All-Inclusive Diet, which, by the way, there's going to be a free book offer, a free all-inclusive diet before the official release date of June 13th this year. You can get your free copy, so hold on for that. I've got a 7-minute, 7-exercise dumbbell routine for you today. I call it the bottom to the top to the done. Done, over with, finished, unless you want to repeat if you're feeling really motivated that particular day. But otherwise, that's all you need. That's all you have to do. 7 exercises, 7 minutes. Let's get down to it. This is the apparatus we're going to use today. They are dumbbells. When you have dumbbells, they let you move in a very natural, rhythmic type of form, where if you get into machines, sometimes they're not made for you. They're not made for this 6 foot, 200-pound male. And because of that, we end up injuring ourselves because we're trying to fit into the wrong size of shoe, essentially. So that's the benefit of having dumbbells, is that this is free weight. It's free range of motion. There's no restrictions, and it doesn't matter how tall or how much you weigh. You just got to pick the right dumbbell for you, which essentially means the right weight for you. It's going to be a challenge because we're doing everything in a circuit. We're not taking much of a rest at all in between the exercises. It's just one big set of 7 exercises. So the first one, knowing that we're going to start with the bottom, then move to the top, and then we're going to be done with this thing, is going to be the squat, which is, by the way, the grandmother of all lower body exercises. This has to be the effective lower body exercise that has ever been invented. So if you can do it, if you don't have bad knees, if you don't have a bad back, if you do, I'll show you some variations. But again, if you can do this exercise, you should be doing it. So this is how you set it up. Feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out. The dumbbells, just let them hang by your side. Whenever we're in exercise mode, we have to have good posture. It's the far most important thing we need to do. So we don't want to be doing any slouching like this. We want to be standing at attention with our shoulders back and our chest out. So that's how we're going to start it here. Bending down until about a 90-degree angle is reached from your knees to your hips, okay? We never want our knees to go over our toes, all right? And this is the proper way to do a squat. This is the improper. I got hurt knees still to this day. I first started working when I was 14, and I injured my knees by the time I was 16, and it was because I was doing the squat improperly, and my knees were going over my toes. It's just way too much pressure on the knee, and it causes a lot of problems. So setting it up, again, feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, getting down to that 90-degree angle and back up again, always keeping good posture. I never want to see any slouching. Keep the dumbbells by your side, and they're just along for the ride. Up and down, you don't have to do anything with them, you just got to hold on to them. So there's the squat. Moving up to the abdominal region, and this is also a good way to remember what's next. We're working from the bottom to the top, so just logically go up. We finished with your legs, let's hit the core area, and this is going to be an abdominal crunch, and I'm going to use a dumbbell with this. You don't have to. Crunches by themselves are a fantastic core exercise. You don't need much resistance other than your own body, but if you want to challenge yourself, use the same dumbbell, place it up in the air, focus on it, come up, crunch, and release. Now with a crunch, it's just your shoulder blades that are coming off of the ground. You don't need to remove your lower back. Well, that would be a full sit-up. Not using your lower back or your hip flexors. That's why this is such a great exercise, because it isolates. So that's what that looks like. The next one is going to be down here on the mat. We're moving up the body to the pectorals or the chest. We're going to do a chest press. Now, if you are at a gym and you've got some benches like these over here, then by all means, you can actually get on a bench and do this chest press properly. You can also do it on a mat. So you can also do this at home. So you bring the dumbbells right over your chest, okay? Not over your head, not over your abdominals, right over your chest, and then release until your elbows lightly touch the floor again. And it looks like this. Essentially, we're making an arc with the dumbbells. Now, you're going to have a tendency to let these dumbbells fall off to the side. That's a different exercise. That's a fly, not even really a fly actually, but it's this way where we're making an arc and always keeping the dumbbells facing the ceiling, not off towards the walls. So that's the chest press. The legs and the back are the largest muscle groups in our body. So they're pretty taxing, first and foremost. You're going to be winded by doing these exercises. That's a real positive thing for increasing your endurance, but they also are really good for boosting the calorie burn as well. So you never want to neglect your legs or your back because they're just such powerhouses when it comes to burning calories and boosting your metabolism overall. So that's what we're going to do next is the row. Okay, again for the back, I want you to get yourself into a squat-like position again. Remember, we want to have good posture before we start this exercise. Set it up by keeping your chin up. Better to look at a spot on the wall because if your chin is up, then you're not going to tuck. All right, so keep your chin up, keep your back flat. What I'd like you to do is tuck your elbows as far back as you can, squeezing your shoulder blades together to make sure that you use your back and not your arms, and then let them hang down at the bottom and release. And contract and release. That's what that looks like, okay? You're going to have a tendency to let your elbows come out, okay? And that's a different exercise again. That's a reverse shoulder fly. We're not doing that today. So just like a bird, keep your wings tucked in. Keep your elbows as close as you can to your body. Something else I want to mention here that is often not talked about, which I learned many, many years ago in personal training school, PT 101, your breath. Your breath is so important. Following your breath and breathing at the right times when you're exercising is so important. So when we're in the contraction part of the exercise, you always want to be breathing out, okay? And when we're in the relaxed part of the exercise, where we're relaxing, getting ready for the next contraction, we always want to be breathing in. Let me show you how that works, okay? The contractions here, we want to be breathing out, okay? Now we're going to relax. We're breathing in. Now, if you're breathing properly, first of all, least likely to be injured. Second of all, you're going to have far more endurance. You know, what's happening to your muscles when you're working out? You know, what are they asking for? You know, they're asking, first and foremost, for oxygen. So you got to give it to them. So you're going to have far more endurance and strength. And because you're breathing properly and you're breathing with the motion of the exercise, you'll be least likely to be injured. So keep that in mind while you're doing this. So we're almost there. Got a couple more exercises. Now we're finished with the torso. We still got the appendages here, the arms we need to do. So because we're in this formation already, I want you to do the back of your arm. That would be the tricep. So it looks like this. Again, in that squat-like row position we just finished. Bring those elbows up. Again, keep them tucked in nice and tight and kick back. This is a tricep kick back. It's a fantastic exercise. You just got to get your posture right or you're going to hurt your lower back with this one. Keep your chin up, keep your back flat, and keep your elbows tucked in. A lot of people, I see them, they're moving their elbows or their elbows are out to the side. Your elbows are fixed. It's like a door opening and closing. Okay? It's a hinge. Your elbow is the hinge. So don't let your elbows dip. All right, so we got our back of our arms done. Now we need to do the front of our arms. It's a great exercise. It's a simple exercise. And I'm training the front of my arm or the bicep with this bicep curl. Okay, one more. This is exercise number 7. This is going to finish it off. We're going to be done after this. This is going to be the shoulder side raise. So placing the dumbbells in front, all right? So there's a small bend in your elbow. I want you to bring your elbows up to a 90-degree angle, all right? So I don't need them completely straight. There's going to be a slight bend, and I want you to bring it up to a 90-degree angle. Don't let your elbows dip. Keep them up on a flat plane, 90 degrees right across the top of your body. That's a side shoulder raise. So those are your 7 exercises. Now how we're going to do this is we're going to run every exercise 30 seconds. And we're going to take a 30-second break. So there's 1 minute, 7 exercises, 7 minutes. You can play with this. This is more for a beginner to an intermediate. And if you get advanced, then hey, you can go through the circuit more than once. You can do 60 seconds, you can do 90 seconds of the exercise, you can take very little rest at all, maybe 15 seconds in between the exercises. There's a lot of variables that you can play around with, and I really suggest that because this is what happens when you don't do that. When you keep going back to the same exercises, which you will, by the way, and you will because that's the easier path. It's the easier path mentally and emotionally for us, okay, so we're already programmed for that, and our body's on board with that as well, because our body doesn't want to make it any tougher, and emotionally and also, mentally, we don't want to make it any tougher on ourselves neither, but we need to, because that path, okay, the pleasure path where everything is easy, is the path to nowhere. We need to get back on track, and I think Tony Horton called it the best, muscle confusion. And we don't want it to adapt because guess what? Guess what happens when it adapts? It looks like this. That is a flat line, my friend. That is a plateau. That is where you do not want to be. You want something that looks more like this because that's where the results are. That's where we're getting stronger, we're getting faster, we're getting leaner, we're getting more flexible. All those things are happening because our body is constantly confused about what the heck is going on and what you're going to do to it next, and that is a good thing. You got 7 minutes from bottom to the top to done. It's as simple as that. Until the next show, my friend, inspire to aspire.